Welcome to The Learning Curve, the show that takes you inside the Onslow County school system and highlights what makes our school community unique. Every month, we showcase our students, our teachers, and our staff, celebrating their talents and achievements. So join us now for The Learning Curve.
Mr. Staley, what I have you here for is I'm pleased to inform you you've been selected from the assistant principal at Northside High School as the one chosen for assistant principal of the year from Papa to represent us on the national level. So North Carolina Papa has invited you February 25th through the 27th to represent us in Orlando, Florida. You'll do a great job, and I know you'll represent us well, and congratulations.
Today, by the close of business, before you leave here today, you're at some point going to have to draw out a physical copy on this form.
This year, evolving our impact model here at Stateside, we created a Makerspace Lab. And in our Makerspace Lab, we're really looking to push the boundaries of what the kids are doing in math and science and take that and apply it to real-world problems they can solve here in the classroom. And one of the ways that we're going to cap off our Forces in Motion unit with 5th grade is they are going to build pumpkin chunkers or pumpkin catapults. We started our first day with kind of researching what pumpkin catapults were, kind of looking at the national competition in Delaware and introducing the 4 or 5 types that are commonly used. And we've used our last 2 planning sessions for the kids to research with their one-to-one devices and build blueprints for what they want to do and what they want to build in the classroom.
Alright, so AJ's gonna pull it.
So I'm gonna be pulling it down.
Yeah,
And then when you let go, it's gonna let go, and then it's gonna go flying.
because
We did give them some specifications that the chunkers couldn't take up any more than 12 square feet of floor space and couldn't be any taller than 5 feet for safety reasons, and it couldn't use any kind of mechanized power like an air cannon or things like that.
And then how much weight do you want up here?
Is it gonna have, like, is it gonna be weighted down?
It's just gonna be like a block. Me and my group, we're building a slingshot pumpkin chunker. It's actually really fun because we're always like doing all kinds of stuff and making stuff, and we always like just have fun. Oh, this is our prototype.
Yeah.
Our base is like gonna be some styrofoam, and then for like our standing up models, we'll have some just like some toilet paper rolls.
Today what they're doing is they're finishing up their research and finishing up their blueprinting. They have to commit to a type of chunker that they're going to do. The process is really what we're looking for, and that they have to commit to solving problems, and when something else comes up, trying to fix that problem and not give up and quit and change mid-project.
Yeah. Then we have 4 feet up with these, and then we have a basket right here we can tie it to.
This is just a little prototype.
No, it's nothing like it. But it's gonna look better than that.
Today we're working on pumpkin chunkers, our 5th graders. It's been a several-month process from designing to, we also researched famous artists and their pumpkins. They decorated their pumpkins that they're going to chunk in the style of a famous artist. So we tied in art with this as well. But today they are building their pumpkin chunkers. They've just been working out problems. It's been really fun to watch them learn how to hammer and saw. It's amazing how many did not know how to do that and had to be taught. They've been great. They've worked out their problems, and hopefully we'll have some working chunkers by Tuesday.
We're gonna put in that. We're trying to get it. Trying to like see if it'll come out.
I'm Naisha,
I'm Jada.
and we're building a slingshot for Pumpkin Chunkin Day.
We're gonna launch the pumpkin and we're gonna launch it all the way up.
We're doing this competition of who has the best sting and whose pumpkin can go further for the slingshot. We're all doing different things, but we're doing the slingshot because we think we can do good building the slingshot.
The hardest part has been sawing all the screws, getting in and out. So we're trying to put the aisle in our wood so we can connect it to the bungee cord, and then we'll have a thing to hold the pumpkin so we can chunk it.
We're gonna build a catapult, and there's gonna be a bungee cord on each one of those nails, and we're gonna pull it back, and it's gonna go.
Ready, set, 3, 2, 1.
Right now we are hammering down so it'll stay more stable for when we put the bungee cords on and try to shoot our pumpkin.
I'm Megan Bartlett and I'm helping McKenna Johnson hold us Woodbushy Hamless.
This one has potential. This one's got a lot of potential. So we got to put nails. You guys got to strengthen it up and get it tight here. That way it stays in this form right here, okay?
Hi, I'm Scott Schmidt, one of the parents out here, just giving Mr. Marriott a hand with these children and looking at the designs they've come up with, problem solving. I think it's given them the opportunity to just explore some different opportunities and use skills and use tools that they usually don't get to use. I think developing their young minds is good, and giving them the opportunity to explore is equally as well.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We've launched this a few times. It goes pretty high and far, so I feel pretty confident about our pumpkin chunker.
And the hardest part about our pumpkin chunker was sewing.
Ready? Let go! Get it!
My name is Eunice Birmingham. We're waiting on putting the weight on our catapult, and we're going to try to make it with a cap to throw the pumpkin.
We are 2 days away from chunking our pumpkins. We're gonna chunk our pumpkins on Tuesday, right before Thanksgiving break happens. And as you can see from the video, it's kind of madness around here. We're kind of in the 11th hour. Kids are testing their prototypes, making final modifications, and hopefully on Tuesday, we're gonna throw some pumpkins. All right, so this is how it's gonna go. Chunking day is here, all right? Remember, it's about the process. On your sheet, there are 2 measurements. You are going to measure impact and you are going to measure rollout. You are going to do it with the assistance of our military volunteers that are here to help us today.
On your mark, get set, fire! I like that. All right, 23 feet total and splatter. That's a bonus point.
I'm excited about today because we've been working for it for so long, and now all of our hard work is done.
We're through the first round of pumpkin chunking. It's been a great event so far. Lots of different designs from the kids, chance for them to be creative thinkers and builders, and we're very excited to see how this is going to finish up here. But either way, I think the kids had a great great time through this. It's been over a month of designing and building, and this is a great culminating activity.
There's our chunker. We call it the duct tape meister because it has so much duct tape on it.
With a combined distance of 59 feet 8 inches. Clarissa Carr, your group wins!
My name is Jay Asher. I wrote a teen novel, 13 Reasons Why, and today I've been speaking at different high schools around here, talking about the book and writing the book, but more about the subject matter of the book. It's about a girl who commits suicide and her reasoning behind that, and people that have affected her life leading up to that moment. And so I talked to the students about where the idea came from, a relative of mine having attempted suicide, and then gave some warning signs that they can look out for, and made sure that they knew the reason I'm speaking here was because the faculty at these schools sees this as something that should be discussed, even though it is uncomfortable to talk about. So now I'll describe what 13 Reasons Why is about, so you can see how big of a departure this was for me. So this book begins with this junior in high school, a boy named Clay Jensen, who comes home from school one day and he finds a package on his doorstep addressed to him. He opens up the package, and inside are 7 audio cassettes, and their sides are labeled 1 through 13. And eventually he finds a way to play tapes, puts in the first tape, presses play, and out comes the voice of Hannah Baker, a classmate of his who 2 weeks earlier committed suicide. And what she says is that on each side of each tape, she's going to tell the story of somebody at her school who led her, she feels, to this decision, and that if you've received the box of tapes, you're one of the reasons why. But at some point I realized that I'm a guy, and I'm writing. No, I've always realized I'm a guy. I realized I'm a guy writing about things that happened to a female in high school. I should probably talk to some women. So I sat down with my wife and 2 of my friends who are female, and I basically said, tell me about things you went through in high school that you never thought you'd get over, or things that to this day maybe still haven't gotten over. And I had this long list of questions. I thought it was going to take a lot of really serious questions to get them to really open up. But that's all I had to say, and the 3 of them just started yapping away, going, that happened to you too? Or I thought I was the only one that felt that way. And this was years out of high school, and for the first time, they're really opening up about this stuff, which made me believe even more that's why stuff like this sometimes has to be written about in books, because we don't do the best job really honestly addressing these things in real life. People will talk about threats and intimidation and harassment and things like that, but that's as far as the connection goes. There's all sorts, some people take it way over here, it has to do with exactly how that person's feeling. Others say it has to be done intentionally. And personally, I think whatever definition you're comfortable with, we have to at least expand it to include also how that person is taking it. But I realized, I guess I did write a book about this. So I wrote the book without doing any research. But then before I sent it off, I did do some, and I found out a couple things. One of the things I found out about, which is I think one of the most beautiful things our society offers, are these crisis hotlines that are out there, which have been around for a long time. But I just didn't know about them when I was in school. And they're there for suicide prevention, of course, but also just this idea of hope, when we don't know that things are going to get better, and yet we get the sense that we need to talk to somebody. The fact that there are actual strangers sitting there who don't know us but are literally wanting us to call when we need to, I think, again, that's one of the most beautiful things we offer. But one of the other things I realized doing the research was that even though personally I had never been to that dark of a place, her character just naturally followed the progression of somebody losing hope of things getting better, which was kind of an eerie feeling, I have to say, that even though I hadn't been there, I could understand how somebody could get there. But I think that's true for anybody. If we wanted to, we can all understand anything somebody's going to if we really tried. For the past couple years, I've actually been struggling with the thought of suicide, and everything you mentioned and portrayed was so accurate. The rumors, the boys, the drama, everything. And it makes me feel so much better knowing that someone understands. I just wanted to let you know that your book gave me hope. It made me realize that no matter how much you think no one is there, they might be the person you least expect. The line I love in this is, it makes me feel so much better knowing that someone understands, because obviously I wasn't writing about her. And she actually went on quite a bit and talked about what she was dealing with in her life. And a lot of the situations were very different, but the emotions were very similar to what Hannah deals with in the book. And she's one of those people that, because she didn't see any of us talking very openly or honestly about these things, she didn't feel safe reaching out and asking for help. So she ran to a book. And if my book is her first time feeling understood, for me that's a huge honor. But I always feel bad about that, because I don't think a book should be anybody's first time feeling understood. And that's why whenever I go to speak at a school, I feel it's important to tell you guys that I wouldn't be invited to speak here if people were too uncomfortable with this subject matter. That the faculty here, of course, knows it's uncomfortable to talk about, but understands that's why we need to talk about it. Because that's not always the case. There are times where I've been invited to speak at a school, and then somebody in the community raises a fuss because of the issues in the book, and then I'm disinvited, which I think sends the absolute worst message. But if you know somebody's dealing with a lot and they're doing something like this, it could be a sign that they're not dealing with it well. Expressions of unworthiness, changed eating or sleeping patterns, severe drop in school performance, withdrawal from family or friends, giving away belongings, and suicidal threats, which this also leads to one of those cliches that they're just seeking attention, which sometimes that's true. In my personal opinion, if somebody's just seeking attention and doing this to get that, they obviously need attention. But at the same time, the vast majority of people who do attempt suicide have made threats. So we do need to take it serious every time. So the idea that I could be there for someone and all someone really needs to do is care is the final thing I want to leave you guys with. If you're contemplating suicide, or you see a friend who you think might be considering suicide, it's important to know that they deserve help, or that you deserve help. And so if it's something you're thinking about, to make sure you get help, whether it's going to a friend, going to a guidance counselor. But if you see a friend going through that, don't just assume they know they can come to you. Make sure they know they can come to you.
We are here in Onslow County. We're with the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and also through NOAA, running a grant this month to come in and bring our awesome whale, Watson the whale, around to schools to teach students about marine debris. So we do a little lesson with them outside of the whale to teach them all there is to know about marine debris. We go inside of the whale and get to learn about how it affects our animals and our migrating animals on our coast.
There are only 500 North Atlantic right whales left on the planet. Is that a lot? No. No, right? Think if you're one school.
Then we come outside of the whale, do a little wrap up, and teach them about recycling, reducing, and reusing.
So these are actually something called microbeads, and these are plastic.
We're focusing on marine debris, so we want to make sure that the students understand what can happen to animals when they're swimming in the water and they come in contact with marine debris. So we like to bring them out here and kind of focus on the positive things that they can do in their lives to help prevent that from happening. We even go so far as to show them a demonstration with plastic six-pack rings that you can find around soda cans and Gatorade, and how much weight it takes to break one of those. We like to focus on the 3 R's. We make sure that they understand reduce, reuse, recycle, and focus on reduce is first, being the main way that they can help prevent marine debris from getting into the ocean in the first place.
As you all know, it takes a leader and a visionary to make a program successful. And we've been very fortunate to have our CEO, Ron McElheney, as our advocate for the Bright Ideas and continue to fund it so that we have successful programs every year. Since this is his last banquet, as he will be retiring at the end of December, we wanted to take this opportunity, thought it would be a perfect opportunity, to just take a look back at the grant program over the last 22 years and see the impact that it's had on education. Our speakers tonight have both been Bright Idea Grant recipients, so they have truly seen the impact that it can have on their students and education. Our first speaker tonight is Dr. Leslie Eason. When we began the program back in 1994, Leslie was a teacher and one of our first Bright Idea Grant winners. She moved on into administration and became a principal at the high school I remember is Dixon High School, because her and her team were extremely successful at getting Bright Idea grants for their educators there. And now she's at the county office and serves as the Associate Superintendent of Instructional Services. So at this time, if I can call up Dr. Leslie Eason.
Well, good evening, everybody. What a merry, merry event during the season of giving. And I think Jones-Onslow certainly epitomizes what the season of giving should look like all year round. You know, in the Onslow County school system, we often consider what really makes us a system of excellence. From a district perspective, how do we provide the very best opportunities to our students? And when we talk about our students, we're talking about 37 schools and approximately 26,500 kids. So when you're that large, how do you continue to serve as beacons of innovation and leadership? One of our very clear answers whenever we're questioning those things is always the power of our partnerships. Truly, one would only need to look as far as our systems partnership with Jones-Onslow EMC since 1994 to find a glowing example of innovation and leadership. If someone ever really wanted to know what great innovations were cutting edge in the Onslow County school system, all that person would really need to do is take a look at 22 years of Jones-Onslow Bright Idea Grant recipients, and what you're going to see is the beginning, so many times over and over again, of great cutting edge innovations starting through our Bright Ideas. In the early 1990s, just as an example, Jones-Onslow was proudly supporting technology innovation in the Onslow County school system long before there were computers in our classrooms, long before our district ever considered a one-to-one initiative. And from there, the list goes on. If you look at our Bright Ideas grant recipients over the years, Jones-Onslow was funding STEM initiatives before the rest of this country was even considering STEM education. Hydroponics, geocaching, robotics, long before we realized that third grade children could certainly program robots. Global initiatives, CSI, crime scene investigation, all over the Onslow County school system. And so many of those early initiatives we can transfer back to Jones-Onslow EMC and this Bright Ideas program. But innovation has got to be supported, Paula, as you mentioned, by great leadership. My favorite definition of leadership comes directly from Stephen Covey. Leadership is communicating to people their worth and their potential so clearly that they are inspired to see it in themselves. We have a lot of great leaders in this room tonight. Our teacher leaders, our school executives, our district leaders, our Jones-Onslow leaders, and perhaps the gentleman that communicates worth and potential so clearly to us all. Thank you, Ron McElheney, for your vision, your commitment, and your service to this wonderful community and to our school system. Thank you for supporting our educators, and thank you for each and every time that we are able to unleash creativity in a child as he is empowered and encouraged to explore his next bright idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Our next speaker is our most award-winning educator. I guess that's grammatically correct. Has won the most grants throughout the years. Beth Howard is an inspiration to watch in the classroom. She's an art teacher at Dixon Elementary, so at this time I'd like to call up Beth Howard.
Good evening. I remember getting my first Bright Ideas letter from Jones-Onslow back in 1994. Oh, I was so anxious to find out if my grant had been granted, and lo and behold, it was. I was so excited because all of my life I had suffered from "that's some bright idea, Beth" syndrome. And now I was recognized for having a bright idea, and it was a good thing. I called all my family to share the news, and this began my over 2 decades long relationship with Jones-Onslow, the Bright Ideas program, and the best hugging man in this room, Ron McElheney. The Bright Ideas program is not specific to our area. Other co-ops in North Carolina participate, but not to the extent that Jones-Onslow does. There have been grants to provide instruments for young musicians, publish newspapers for future Pulitzer Prize winners, and provide video cameras and editing equipment for future Emmy Award-winning directors. Grants that allow students to grow, compost, paint, sculpt, recycle, and beautify are but a few ideas that have had a profound effect on the teachers, students, and schools of Pender, Jones, and Onslow counties. The award-winning educators are sitting here now, eager to bring their bright ideas to light. As an art educator, I often ask my students to visualize as they create their composition. So visualize with me a power pole. I used to call them telephone poles until the lineman corrected me not too long ago. These tall wooden structures stand like silent sentinels of the imaginations of great inventors like Franklin and Edison. The Bright Ideas program is a lot like a power pole, taking in the ideas and creativity of educators and then funding them to bring life and add an energized spark to classrooms all over the region. But changing the raw power of the grant and connecting it with the schools is a special person we thank tonight, Ron McElheney. Ron has been the transformer for the Bright Ideas program for 22 years. He has transformed the dreams of educators and students alike and made them into a reality. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Beth. We're now going to show our video, and this year we have done a retrospective of the Bright Ideas Grant Program that kind of showcases the program during the past 22 years. As some of you may know, when we award grants, we always ask for you to let us know when you're going to implement your grant so that we can come to your school, take pictures, and get video. So perhaps you may see some of your educators from your school here on the film tonight. Some of them may look a lot younger because we're going all the way back to 1994. But before we show the video, I do want to say a special shout out and recognition to Lori Crowder and Nadar Hossam. I didn't say that right, but they have been my new best friends for the past few weeks as we traveled around to various schools and gotten some footage for tonight's video. So we hope you enjoy it. Let's take a look.
Hello and welcome to Bright Ideas News. Tonight we have a special feature that includes a retrospective of the past 22 years of Jones-Onslow's EMC Bright Ideas grants that supports educators and students. Let's take a look.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Jones-Onslow EMC, I would like to welcome you to the annual Bright Ideas Banquet.
Jones-Onslow introduced the Bright Ideas Grant Program in 1994 to provide many grants to teachers in grades K through 12 to provide creative and innovative classroom projects that would not be covered by traditional school funding.
I was in second grade when the first Bright Ideas grant was given in Onslow County. I was in Ms. Baker's class, who was, probably my all-time favorite teacher, amazing. And we were doing a lot of things with science and plants, and when the greenhouse was brought in, we had the opportunity to bring science to life. And I think that's really important for the students to have that hands-on, and that's what the Bright Ideas grant does. And as a student, I remember it still. I mean, I'm in my 6th year teaching, and I had the opportunity to do something that could not have been done without Bright Ideas grants. And I still remember it to this day. And the fact that now I'm a recipient, along with the rest of the science department here at Jacksonville High School, of a Bright Ideas grant is pretty amazing.
The difference that I saw with the grant program was it stimulated interest, it created opportunities for teachers to be creative beyond the funding that we could always provide, and it gave students an opportunity to explore things that were way beyond what they thought they could do.
I've been receiving Bright Idea grants since 1994, and I can definitely tell what an impact it's had on not only my teaching, but my students as well. We've received grants for materials to help with art supplies, art projects, and also multimedia production. And today I have about half a dozen students who have gone on to college to major in something that they discovered when they were working with either video or photography. So I'm very, very grateful to Jones-Onslow for all of the grants and for the impact that it has made on our society, our community, and which is now coming back, and these students are paying it forward.
In the 22 years of Bright Ideas grants in Jones, Onslow, and Pender counties, I know many, many lives have been touched by the effect. At my school particularly, we started out our program with the Great Outdoors, which was a vision of mine to expand the walls of the classroom where the children could go out and actually learn about planting and growing and digging in the dirt. Then we painted the power poles. We were so happy, and Jones-Onslow trucks came and put the tops on them. We've had hammocks where the children can hang around and read. We came into classrooms and we became student scientists, and the children went from classroom to classroom teaching other children because they learn best from other children, teaching them about science and the different creatures and things, and putting on costumes and puppets. It's just been awesome.
I've had the good fortune to be involved with the program since the inception, and I have had a front row seat to see the impact that it has had on the students that have been involved with these projects. None of this would have been possible without the support and leadership of Ron McElheney. He understands the importance of investing in children's education as they are tomorrow's future. Under his tenure, the Bright Ideas Grant Program has continued to grow every year and is recognized as one of the best educational grant programs in the state of North Carolina.
Ron McElheney, from the beginning, supported the Bright Idea grant concept. He advocated and supported for continuing funding the grants and has been instrumental in the success we've enjoyed throughout the years.
On behalf of Jones County Schools, we'd like to thank Jones-Onslow EMC for 20 years of funding Bright Ideas grants for our school system. As a rural low-income district, we're often overlooked by the big funders, so it's been especially important to us to be supported by our local EMC in providing quality education that keeps us competitive and at the top of our game. We know that Mr. McElheney has been responsible for the distribution of hundreds of thousands of dollars to the teachers of Jones County Schools for their work with Jones County children. Thanks, Ron.
Some of my students now, their parents were some of the original children that participated in our Great Outdoors program, and they've been out here with them and said, I remember when I planted that tree. Now that's vision. Thank you, Mr. Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Mr. Ron.
With walking canes and hair of gray, have no fear, even though it's hard to hear. I will stand real close and say
Thank you, Mr. Ron.
Thank you, Mr. Ron.
Thank you, Mr. Ron.
Thank you, Mr. Ron.
Thank you, Ron, for helping to inspire the minds of over 430,000 students during the past 22 years.
Thank you, Mr. Ron.
Thank you, Mr. Ron.
We are glad that we can support our students and our educators in the schools and all of the communities that we serve in. And again, congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you, Ron McElheney. You made a difference.
I just want to again say a special thank you to Lori Crowder and Nadar. You guys did a great job with that video. Thank you so much. And we're going to begin the program with a special award tonight. So at this time, Steve Goodson will make a presentation.
So before y'all get y'all's checks and y'all are awarded, we got one special presentation. I drew the short straw because he hates to be in the limelight. He hates the spotlight. He any kind of recognition that we get, Jones-Onslow, he defers it. Ron refers it to the board, to the employees, and the staff. That's how he is. I worked for him for 25 years. We got some folks in here that worked there longer than that. But anybody that knows him, that's how he is. But tonight you can't escape the limelight. So we're giving Ron a special award tonight, Bright Ideas Champion Award. If we can get it out of the box. So he didn't need another plaque. He didn't need another pen. He don't need much. If he wants it, he goes and gets it. But he couldn't get this. This says a Bright Ideas Champion Award. It's a clock that we've had for him. It says, presented to J. Ronald McElheney, December 9th, 2015, in recognition of your outstanding support for the Bright Ideas Grant Program, 1994-2015. $1.13 million awarded, 5,400 educators, and impact of 460,000 students. Ron.
Well, Steve's right, because I didn't know all this was getting ready to go on, but I started just jump up here and break in line. This is not about me, folks. It's about you guys and what you do for the kids. And it's also about my staff, Steve, Paula, all that crowd over there. They do a wonderful job, and I just been along for the ride, trust me. They make Jones-Onslow and me look good every day, and I appreciate them, and I really appreciate all you folks for what you do every day. Our kids are the most important things we got in our lives, and Jones-Onslow was mighty proud and happy to be a part of what you do. And this is just a small token of what we can do. And we thank you for coming tonight, and I hope that you continue to participate in the Bright Ideas program, because in my tenure, I read over these things, and it's just amazing of what y'all come up with. It's just unreal. And we get letters and pictures and all that stuff, and we just mighty proud and happy to be able to be a part of what y'all do every day. Thank you very much.
That's all for this learning curve. If you'd like to learn more about the Onslow County school system, please visit our website. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook, or you can see this show and other programs about the Onslow County school system on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and join us again on The Learning Curve.